Hi, my name is Alex. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I'm from San Diego, California. I went to Syracuse University for undergrad. I've known since 8th grade that I've wanted to be a speech language pathologist. So I made sure to look for speech language pathology programs going into undergrad, um, or programs that specifically had a communication sciences and disorders major for undergrad. Um, and I worked non-SLP related jobs. I haven't really worked with kids a lot or like with clients. I worked in my mom's martial arts supply shop growing up, and I worked in the LGBTQ Resource Center in my undergrad. I have always loved working with my peers who had disabilities. In middle school, chose every semester to be part of a peer tutoring advisory where I would go out with my peers who are in special ed to their classes, and I'd just act as a liaison, help them to communicate their needs in the classroom. And then in high school, I joined a club called Circle of Friends, and that club was it was to pair up general education students with special education students to make sure we all had someone to navigate high school with. And that club was run by the school SLP at my high school. And I got some experience with AAC through that. And I got some experience just like understanding the difficulties of being a person who communicates differently. And I think it really interested me. I go to Pacific University. My program is an interesting one because all of our clinical experience is community-based. We don't have an on-campus clinic. Um, we partner with different community members and different kind of SLP positions, and I really liked that kind of aspect of the program where we're collaborating with the community and you get to know more of the community. I wasn't really nervous about getting into Pacific University because honestly, I had a really good resume going into applying for grad school. I did research in undergrad, and I have okay grades. Well, I chose the program partly because of that community-based system. It's a 2-year program. It does go through the summer. It's currently the summer. I have a cohort of 36, and we do all of our classes together. Because we're coming out of the pandemic, a lot of our classes have been online, especially in the beginning, but we're shifting to more now in person. I do wish that I had known that grad school is way different from undergrad. In undergrad, I was doing a million things outside of classes and I was able to get everything done. Grad school it's all grad school. Some people do have jobs, but it's not easy to balance that. Yes. Another thing I wish I had known about grad school was life still happens during grad school. Make sure that you're really mentally stable and mentally prepared going into grad school because people have their car stolen, they get liver disease, they get pregnant, like all this stuff still happens while you're going through grad school, and you have to make sure that you're in a place where you can communicate. Yeah, I do wish I had taken a gap year before going into grad school. I went straight from high school to undergrad to grad school, and that's partly because I didn't want to have to start paying off my student loans. I have been independent since my 18th birthday, and I'm paying for all of this myself by taking out a bunch of student loans. And so there is a really financial hard press aspect of it for me, but I wish that I had experienced a little bit of life before going into grad school to kind of get that perspective on like what this is all really for. And like, I'm not just going to school to survive, I'm going to school to thrive. My favorite class so far, Okay, autism was great. I also weirdly really enjoyed communication and aging. I think it's all about the professor that makes the class. Dr. Amanda Stead at Pacific University, she is an innovator with her simulation programs, and she is just so enthusiastic about everything she teaches that it's impossible for you to not get enthusiastic. I'm really excited for my AAC course in the fall. I think that'll be great. Yeah, I guess I should have brought that up. Simulations are really cool. I was really nervous going into them, but basically they have every semester paid actors come in and they act out being a person that you're evaluating or communicating with about a topic that you've learned about throughout the semester. So we had a simulation in the fall where for our stuttering class where we were talking with a person who stutters about his treatment plan. And it was really a great low stakes environment to not only like show what you've learned, show yourself what you've learned, but also to learn as you're going through it. I was nervous going into clinicals, particularly because I have accommodations. I'm a neurodivergent student, and so I didn't know how that would work going into clinicals. I didn't know what the landscape would be like, what I would need help with, what it's just scary not knowing what's coming up. But I ended up getting placed with Rachel, who owns this YouTube channel, and we traveled around helping people to set up their AAC and to provide AAC. And it was amazing. I think, again, it's all about the person that you fall in with and like making a connection. Make sure you're open to new experiences. Um, and it's okay to have a healthy amount of fear. um, my next experience is going to be Camp Yakety Yak, which is a social communication camp for children with disabilities, particularly with autism. And it runs for 4 weeks in the summer, but I'm going to be doing a week of it, and it's intensive, so I'm going to get a lot of hours in that little bit. For externship, I currently have a setup. My aunt in Louisville, Kentucky offered me a place to stay with her for free, which is really nice because, again, self-supporting. And I, one of my professors put a group chat in a Facebook group for speech language pathologists interested in gender expansive care. And someone responded, who's in the LGBTQ community and is a speech language pathologist in Louisville, Kentucky, and she offered to take me on. So I'll be going there. As I understand it, externship is full time in the field. You're working with under somebody, or because it's your last semester, you're working pretty much independently. I think it's like 75% independent, 25 supervision, because that's the minimum by ASHA requirements. Whereas the practicum placements, you're still taking classes alongside that and balancing everything. I'm just excited to see my clients gain confidence and be able to live their lives as their authentic selves and like to be a part of their process of growing. I in undergrad I really developed a love for research. I'm a little burnt out at this point, and I think that I need to take some time to experience a less academic life. Although as an SLP, you're always learning, and I really appreciate that about the field. Um, I am currently thinking that I'll work in the schools. I think that's where a lot of the jobs are. And I love the idea of working with kids in their most awkward years of their lives, which we all know is middle school. It's hard enough to go through school as a kid without a communication difficulty, and then adding that on top of it's can't be easy. And I think we all need a lot of support in these times, and I think this is a way that I can help support people. So, as a openly non-binary person in undergrad at my program at Syracuse University, it was kind of hard to make connections with my peers. I also am just a really loud person, and I think my personality clashed with a lot of the traditional views held by a lot of people in my program in undergrad. So for grad school, I specifically sought out a program that would have values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and be committed to understanding people's different lived experiences and how that affects them. Um, I ended up finding a lot more friends in my graduate program, and I found my community in my undergrad program, but it was kind of harder to get through. I love my classmates, and our group chat has our group chat has kept me going throughout grad school. Yes, just from my first semester of doing clinical practicum, I've noticed that there's a lot of frustration in the field, particularly among school SLPs, with pay, with hours, with caseload. And that is kind of daunting, but I've invested a lot of money into this degree. So I'm going to stick with it. And it's something I love, but it's a thing where we're going to have to remember to keep each other accountable in the field for um, setting healthy boundaries, work life boundaries, because especially in helping professions, it's really hard to keep yourself from getting invested in your clients and your students, and making sure that they're getting everything they need. But you also need to make sure you're taken care of before you can give everybody else their oxygen mask. My most valuable resource has definitely been my classmates. We have a group chat on Slack, and we're constantly communicating in it. We have a channel for every single class that we have. And then we also have a channel for sharing pictures of pets, sharing pictures of each other's cute kids and babies, and sharing like outings that we go on together. And like I went to the Beaverton Pride Parade with a couple of my classmates on Sunday, and it's just outings like that keep us close as a cohort, keep us from like getting too much in that mindset of like we're drowning in homework. My biggest resource has definitely been my classmates. Pacific University is in Oregon, so a lot of my time outside of school is spent hiking or exploring new places. I really love waterfalls, so I try to seek out waterfall hikes as much as possible. I like to take my cat for walks. I got a kitten a week before grad school started, and it's been a journey with her, but she is trained and she does tricks and she's really cool. And I take her on hikes around different parks in Oregon. And then I also play a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons, and that's easy to pull out if you need like a 5-15 minute break from homework. And yeah, definitely recommend making sure you have all of like a bunch of different resources in order, have a bunch of friends that you can connect with and call and just like rant about your life.
I also love your earrings. Can we see what those
Oh,
are?
yes, they were a graduation present from one of my bosses at the LGBTQ Resource Center at Syracuse University. The wheels actually move. Yeah.
Sweet.
Um, don't stress yourself too much. Look when you're looking into grad schools, look for a program that matches your values and the values you want to have as a clinician. Pacific University, I chose specifically because they have these 6 core values. It's community, equity, compassion, critical inquiry, advocacy, and lived experiences. And those are all things that are really important to me in considering the client, considering the whole picture of the person you're working with. So that was really important. And I ended up getting some pretty cool professors out of it who are doing great work. And I'm able to participate in research through my graduate assistantship. And yeah, if you're thinking about speech language pathology, do it. It's an amazing field and you'll feel rewarded every day of your life.